Welcome back, guys. If you're new here, hi, I'm Jen. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to my little space where I share all about my postpartum journey and what I'm doing to help heal myself postpartum. I upload new videos every Wednesday, so please hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the little bell so you get notifications for any time I upload new videos. I try and upload every Wednesday, so make sure you tune in on Wednesdays for my new video. This week, I just want to have a heart-to-heart with you guys. My previous videos have been really focused on what I've been doing to heal my body, but there's more than one aspect to what I'm doing, and that's healing my mind as well. One thing that I've really learned so far in motherhood is that things don't go as you plan them to. And for me, this was something that was really hard to work through. When I had Grayson, I didn't expect at all to go through the things that we went through. He was in the NICU for the first 48 hours of his life, and we really struggled with breastfeeding. For me, that was something that was super important. I desperately wanted to breastfeed him for a year. We had latching issues, and I felt like once we were finally getting in the rhythm of figuring out in those first few weeks, then he started to get really bad silent reflux. I took a breastfeeding course before having him, but honestly, I don't think you can like really prepare for the journey that is breastfeeding. It was a lot harder than I thought it was gonna be, and it was just, yeah, it was not what I expected at all. When I decided to switch to formula, I was just at the point where mentally I couldn't work through the struggles we were dealing with. I was just so frustrated. I was so sleep deprived, and I felt like the only solution for me at the time was to give up on that for the betterment of my mental health and to be able to be a good mom. And looking back, now that where I am in motherhood, I feel like there's a lot of things that I could have done, but I can't beat myself up over that because it's not going to change what happened and how I handled things. But on the same token, I really think that it was what was best for me and what was best for Grayson at the time. It's something that I still really struggle with. It's something that I'm honestly like kind of jealous when I see other moms who are successful breastfeeding. I feel like I failed, and it's not that anybody else has made me feel that way, but it's just how I felt about the situation, which is something that I'm also learning, is accepting failures in motherhood. There's so many things that I said I wouldn't do and I ended up doing, which one of them was formula feeding. I swore I wouldn't do that. What I found in motherhood is we do what is best for us and for our family, and it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. And I think that's true in life. In hindsight, you think you could have, practiced harder for that competition, or you could have studied harder for that test, or you could have saved more money to buy a nicer house. But it's easy to look back and think those things when in the moment you're just not in the right headspace. And I think it's okay to fail and fail forward and learn from those situations. That's how I'm looking at this. Is I plan to try and breastfeed whatever children we have next, and I plan to do as much research and have resources in place to help support me. But I also am not going to beat myself up if I end up supplementing or bottle feeding. But my goal is definitely to try and breastfeed in the future. If you're a mom who has formula fed and breastfed, I'd love to hear from you in the comments as well, because any resources that you have to send my way, that would be great. If you breastfed your child successfully, I would love to hear things that worked for you. Anything that can help teach me how to overcome some of the struggles that I mentioned would be amazing. I would love any recommendations that you have. A lot of what I went through and I'm going through is learning to accept the trauma that I went through. I feel like I'm somebody who underplays the things that I go through because I want to be strong and I don't want to appear weak to other people After going through this whole journey with my naturopathic doctor and speaking with her and honestly coming to tears during one of our meetings, I've realized that a lot of what I went through with Grayson was not the normal or ideal transition into motherhood. And not being a mother until having him and dealing with the NICU and dealing with breastfeeding struggles and dealing with silent reflux, it was a lot. And I shouldn't underplay that, because that's a lot to work through on top of just figuring out how to be a mom. And I've learned that I've kept a lot of that stuck inside of me, and I've accepted that when I need to cry, I'm gonna cry. When I feel frustrated and things aren't going as planned with Grayson, I need to find a healthy way to like let that out. Keeping these emotions inside and burying them down, they start to manifest themselves in other ways, which I think has a lot to do with my hormonal imbalance and struggling to lose weight. So that's another thing that I've really been working on, is mindfulness and being connected to how I feel and giving those emotions recognition. Because before, I think whenever I would feel angry or upset, I'm like, why am I such a negative person? Like, why do I always think these negative thoughts? Why am I always getting frustrated? Why am I angry? Why can't I be a better mom? Why can't I be more positive? Why can't I be like this mom? And what I've realized is negative emotions have a space and they have a purpose, and you have to give them the space to release themselves. And it doesn't make you a negative person. It doesn't make you an angry person. You have to validate them and then let them go, because you're feeling them for a reason, and there's nothing wrong with you for feeling the way you're feeling. But also, you can't dwell and let yourself soak in those emotions. If you don't find a healthy outlet for them, then they're just gonna fester inside of you and create this underlying tension of negativity and anger and resentment and frustration. And that was what I was struggling with, is all of these emotions building up inside of me and then lashing out on other people, when really it was me who had to work through all of them. The last thing I wanted to talk about today was some of the things that I've been doing, practical takeaway things that you can do, that I've been doing to help myself stay in a positive mental space. One of the first things that I did was I cut out social media for a month. I needed to silence the world around me and really take that time to reflect inward and figure out, who am I? What do I want? What do I want to accomplish? What do I need to fix within myself? And mindlessly scrolling through Instagram or TikTok or watching videos on YouTube was not going to help me get there. I really needed to tune everybody out and just have that time with myself. And I think it was a really great time that I did that. It was the beginning of the year, and it was when I was starting to go through my meetings with my doctor. And it's actually what led me to wanting to do this, wanting to vlog and share my journey. So I'm really glad that I took that time. Another thing that I've been doing is just overall self-improvement. I've been listening to a lot of books to help educate myself on wellness and mindfulness. I've been doing a combination of listening to Audible books and reading books. I feel like when you try and go through a journey to recreate yourself, there's going to be moments where you feel really weak and you're like, why am I doing this? This is so stupid. Nobody cares about what I have to say, or nobody's going to believe me that I've changed, or I can't do this. Why am I trying to be somebody that I'm not? And in those moments, that's when I found listening to these inspirational books, listening to these things that talk about health and wellness, listening to podcasts, people that I admire. It's really helped me refocus and get rid of that negative self-talk. And for me, I've really struggled with, why am I trying to do this YouTube thing? Why am I trying to change what I eat and all this stuff? Like, I look around, I see some of these moms who are super healthy, they're fit, they're positive, they're awesome people. I admire them so much. And in my head, I'm like, I'm never going to be that person, Jen. That's just not who you are. People aren't going to want to listen to you. And that's so false. Like, I know in the core of who I am, there's at least one person who's benefiting from hearing my story. And these things that I'm thinking, it's just self-doubt, and those moments pass. So I've really loved finding a new book to read or listen to each week. It's helped me stay focused. It's helped me tune out those false narratives and really look at, okay, what do I want to accomplish? Focus on my why, focus on helping other moms, focus on telling your story. It's not easy, and there's definitely moments where I compare myself to other people, but those things have really helped me. I've really struggled with postpartum aggression and anger, and I think it's just because I just get overstimulated and I don't know how to express myself, and I get frustrated and things don't go the way I planned, and I'm a planner, and it takes a lot for me to adjust and stop. And I felt ashamed of like getting angry and frustrated with Grayson and with myself. And what I've found is simple breathing techniques. And you're probably sitting there like, bullshit, Jen. No, I'm telling you, taking a second to stop, breathe in for 10 seconds and hold, and breathe out for 10 seconds. And do that 10 times in a row and tell me you don't feel more relaxed. Because if you say you don't, I don't believe you. Really, it's been such a great help. And I shared this on Instagram and in my previous vlogs, but The Lost Science of the Art of Breath was a life-changing book for me. Also, Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins, listen to the Audible version, was amazing. He's kind of more of a hard ass, so like if you don't like swearing and like a don't bullshit attitude, probably shouldn't listen to him, but I love that. But both of those books have really helped me with my anger and addressing how I'm feeling, taking a second and evaluating how I'm feeling, taking a second, taking a breath, coming back and admitting that I'm wrong. Ben would say I could still work on that, but I'm working on it. Love those books. Definitely listen to them. Those have been huge influencers for me. They really changed my perspective about my trauma. And the other thing I've been doing, which I've talked a lot about, is finding time for myself. Who am I? Who is Jennifer Bodner outside of being a mom, outside of being a wife, outside of being a sister, a friend, a photographer, this, that? Like, who am I? What do I like to do? And a lot of that time is at the gym, working out, taking a walk, going outside, finding a hobby, vlogging, connecting with people, intentional conversations, inward reflection, creativity. Those things are the things that I've really started to connect myself to. I don't know, you just like, you find things that attract positivity to you. And one of those things for me is feeling confident in my own skin and bringing happiness to people around me, because if I can bring happiness to people around me, it will be reflected back to me. I know this all probably sounds like super hippie woo-woo, but honestly it is. Connecting and feeling a part of everything in my life, appreciating the food I eat, appreciating my body, appreciating my time, my energy, the time and energy of those around me, the time and energy of everything. Feeling that connectedness. It's amazing. When you're in that negative talk cycle, you just only see the negative around you. But when you break it and you intentionally look for the good in everything, you find that you feel better. And that's another small thing that I've done when I've felt frustrated or like angry is name 5, 10 things. Name as many things as you can that you're grateful for. And I guarantee it'll make you feel better at the end too. If you made it this far in the video, thank you. I love you. Keep coming back. I appreciate it. Let's build a community where we can openly talk about mental illness, postpartum depression, where we can have these conversations, be raw and real and honest people, be true to who we are. I appreciate you. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you tune in next week. I can't wait to see you then. Bye. Can I have that, please? Thank you. So nice.